Well, good evening, everybody. It is a Tuesday night, not a Wednesday night, which is our typical time for our Coach's Corner show, but we had to kind of move things around a little bit this week. Tomorrow night, we're going to be covering the Northwestern Ranger Basketball Bash. That starts at 8 o'clock, goes till 9 at Percival Fieldhouse, kind of a preview for Northwestern men's and women's basketball. We'll be out there at 7 o'clock interviewing coaches and players, kind of just a little preview opportunity for us to get ready for Ranger Basketball. Ranger Basketball gets underway. Their first exhibition games actually are a week from this coming Thursday, November 5th, and so we wanted to cover that. So that's tomorrow night. So we have moved our Coach's Corner show to tonight. One other programming note, our Matt Walter Coach's show, Inside the Lines, when we talk Ranger football, that has been moved to Thursday night. So we're going to have something every night this week, except for last night. So here on KELV. Thanks for tuning in to our Coach's Corner show. Head coach of the Gold Bugs, Taylor Schwerdtfiger, joins us. I know you don't necessarily want to be thinking about basketball, and I won't ask you to think about basketball yet, but we're kind of almost in that time where we're overlapping things a little bit. So that I appreciate you for making the change for us this week.
No problem.
Let's talk first Tonkawa. Obviously, that was last week, our last home game, senior night. It was, first of all, let's start from there. It was nice to see the seniors honored. Obviously, before the game, would have loved the outcome to be different than what it turned out to be. That was certainly disappointing, but I don't want to put a damper on what those seniors have meant, and not just the players, but Julia Buckingham, who's been tremendous for the program.
Yeah.
The cheerleaders, the band members, all those seniors have been kind of instrumental in part of the program. So it was still nice to see them get their just due, I think, before the game and everything.
Yeah, no doubt. I told the seniors before, what they've meant to the program as far as they're bought into this point, and the effort that they've given to this point, has been great. They could have easily not came out this year,
sure,
or just said, hey, we don't want to be part of this, too much work, and they didn't do that. They've stepped up and really great effort. I think they're disappointed with how we played.
Sure.
Friday, obviously. Looking at it, hindsight, Tonkawa is a much improved team.
Yes.
They're a good football team. They do some really good things. And we're just, I know we sounds like a broken record, but we're banged up. We got kids playing out of place. When we can't sustain the ball drives offensively and move the football, keep the defense off the field, it's going to be rough.
Kind of stuck in a rut, which is not the time you want to be stuck in a rut. But it just is what it is.
It is. And there's nothing you can do about it. I think we were really jiving. We had Austin in there at quarterback and starting to get a feel for what we were, an identity.
Yes.
If you will. And we've never been the same with him not in there, which is, it's just that's the way it is.
Sure.
You got a freshman in there. It's going to take time for him to get it. So, unfortunately, we don't have time. Is something we don't have right now. We're trying to make the playoffs, and he's got a long way to go. He's getting better, and hopefully we can add some things, some weapons around him if we get Austin Sklar back, and it's not in the quarterback capacity.
Right. But we were talking about this off the air. There is a chance that we could see him on the field.
There is a chance.
And that would be, emotionally, I think it would be big because of what he can mean to this team, and just from a production standpoint of some of the ways that we can use him if he's on the field.
It is. One of the things where he's out there, he makes plays.
Yeah.
And the kids know he's out there. And it's not that they don't play for Mitchell. It's just Mitchell isn't proven yet. He's just he's just struggling a little bit at times. I say that. At times he does really well.
Yeah.
It's just pertinent of a freshman. That's just all there is to it. And not that I want to move him. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. We just got to get him comfortable and get him ready to go. And if, like I said, if we can add another weapon to the arsenal and do some things, try to get back to honestly doing some things that we do well. I think we overloaded our kids last week mentally. I think you said it really well when we've kind of looked like we've hit that mental block.
Yeah.
And physical.
And I think you put them both together, and it really makes for a tough deal.
And somebody said this to me, and it kind of hit home with me. They're like, Coach, physically you have gotten you guys have gotten more out of these kids, this group of kids, than we've gotten out of a lot of Alva kids as of late. And so, you look at that and you go, man, you wish you had more time with them, but the reality of it is, we are kind of getting the most out of some of those kids, and they're banged up. I mean, everybody is, but we're not a team that has a lot of depth, and we can't afford that. And so, but it's also a good thing because, hey, that quarterback and that tailback. The tailback graduates, the quarterback's just sophomore.
Yes.
But the way they play the game is the way you want your kids to play.
Yeah.
Their determination and effort, the way they play and run the ball is what I want our kids to play like. Yeah. And so it was good for them to see that. I bet we missed 50 tackles combined in the game. If you talk about having a kid hit at the line of scrimmage and he ends up getting a 12-yard
yards after
game,
contact,
which is insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. I'm going to tell you, if we tackle on first contact, I'll take away 3 touchdowns right now.
Yeah.
I will take away 3, and that's not. I will just say they're not scoring 3 of their time because they're not going to drive like that. Davion picking the ball off and then fumbling it. Just stuff like that is people understand that adds up.
Yeah.
You look at that game, it ended up 35-6, but really, God, it's frustrating because we have some big special teams plays. Hayden doesn't step out of bounds on that one, by the way.
Yeah, I wondered. But.
And going back and looking at it, but it doesn't matter. It's just frustrating because I really do think we should have been in that game.
If you break it down, we get the first drive of the game and great special team. The start of what was a pretty good special teams night in a lot of areas. Great special teams run that gets us to inside their 37. Pick up a first down on the very first play. All of a sudden, we're almost to the 25-yard line. Look really good on that first drive. Get down to the 21. That drive bogs down. Faced a 3rd and 5. Couldn't pick it up. Went for it obviously and couldn't pick it up. Then they have a long drive, and that's when they throw the pick. And Davion made great play off the tip to pick it up. And then he's just, and I said it it's hard to fault him too. He's trying to make a play.
Yeah.
He's trying to run. So I'm not, I don't throw it all on him or anything. But if you don't fumble it, then that's one drive obviously that you take away from.
Sure.
Because unfortunately, once they fumbled it, they're right back on the 18-yard line
with a first down.
With a first down, so it negated everything that we had.
Yeah.
So then 2 plays later they score, and then your momentum really shifts away. And even then, they get out to the 15-0 lead, and then we had another good special teams return, again down to about the 36-yard line, and we put a nice drive together. 7 plays, we wind up scoring. Mitchell throws the pass to Travis, his first touchdown of the year. It was from 3 yards out. So we're right back in it at that point, 15-6. But then again, we go 3 and out on our next 2 drives. They scored on our next 2 drives. And that's kind of how that first half went. And neither one of them were long drives. I think one of them was a 56-yard drive. The other one, we were backed up deep, had to punt. They got it on our 43 and wound up going in. And so it's 28-6 at half. And you take any one of those away, if that's 15-6 at half, it's a completely chance to be a completely different ball game.
We come out and play them 6-0 in the second half. It's just. We can scenario it all day long, and it all looks good, and it's just frustrating because we're a better team than that. And granted, they're a better football team. That Tonkawa team this year beats the Tonkawa team last year by 40.
Oh, absolutely.
There's not even close. Not even close. So they're much improved football team. They beat some people bad. Beat Perry 45-6, and they beat people bad. Not that they, I guess you could say they beat on us a little bit, but I feel like the second half was a little, we played really well.
Yeah, and again, the one score in the second half was the 98-yard run. They're down at, which is right where we wanted them to be. We had a great hunt to get them down there, and you're figuring and that was after we had. Their first drive, they had of the second half, they get down to about the 16. It's about a 10-play drive, and we hold them. Yeah. So our defense really stepped up at that point, and then, like I said, one play, and he's basically right up the middle, and boom, he's gone. And it was interesting watching their sophomore quarterback because he has good size, but when you watch him run, it was interesting because he's just kind of a fluid runner. And he made good moves, and we had him strong runner. We had him in the grasp. It looked like as we said several times, and it just happens that way. It was disappointing, obviously, because if you were able to get that one, you really had yourself in good position for the playoffs. And now, again, it's not totally done. We don't want to completely say it's totally done, but it makes it a lot tougher now. We got to go on the road for 2 years.
Go on the road and try to beat a good football team.
Yeah.
They're good. I mean, they're athletic. We're talking about Pawnee now.
Yes.
They're athletic, well coached. They've done nothing but get better. This is a team that went 3-7 last year, I think.
And this coach this is his second year.
So they blitzed us last year just like everybody else did. 50-something to whatever.
Well, and what's interesting is their quarterback, the Brock kid, got hurt late last year. Didn't even play against us. Right. They didn't need him in that case, the way that last year went. But he has come back and has just, he's a very good athlete, very good basketball player, and then that's translated over to being a very good football player. It really
has. I mean, they do a good job of using him the way he needs to be used. I mean, we've got to make him pay for running the football. If you take that dimension away from them, they're a lot better to defend. So if we can make him pay for running the ball, we're going to be in good shape. Chisholm got all over him last week, and they had a couple big plays, to the Biddy kid, the receiver.
Right.
And he's the best receiver in the district.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt.
It's just hands down. That's the best combination of passing in the district, which is scary for us. But, weather could come into play. I mean, right now I think there's a 90% chance of rain or something like that Friday night. I mean, they're talking like rain all day and then rain that night. So that's definitely going to slow their passing game down. Yeah. Which obviously does to ours too, but it's not like ours has been real prolific.
No, I think we would agree it probably helps us more than it helps them. Let's put it that way.
For sure. I mean,
especially in our current situation.
There's no doubt. I mean, if our kids are comfortable and able to go play and feel good about what's going on, and I will say Tevin's had a tremendous week of practice, and we're going to try to ask him to lock up 7, and we can't. We're not good enough right now stopping the run to double cover him all the time.
Right. So you got to have somebody that can go one-on-one.
Yeah. And Tevin's going to give it a go. And I think we can get pressure on the kid too. Yeah. I think we can get to the quarterback a little bit.
That's one thing that I feel like we have been able to do all year long is get pressure. And one of the reasons why teams haven't passed a bunch, it's been the rushing game that's been our Achilles heel.
Right.
When people have just tried to straight drop back pass, we've gotten, whether it be Ritter on one end or Costello or with our linebackers, we've been able to get a lot of pressure on people.
And that's one thing you got to look at. You got to say, what is it we're going to be good at? And we knew that we were going to struggle stopping the run a little bit, and we've done a good job with it. We really have. Our linebackers have played well. We've gotten better up front every week. But you got to say, hey, look, if you're saying that we're a pressure defense and you're not going to be able to throw the ball, then if they rush for 200 yards and they have 250 yards offense, that's not a bad game.
No.
That's what you got to look at. Say, we've got to be able to pick one or the other.
Right.
And, the downfall to that is ball control. You allow them to have the ball control, and you can be a bend but don't break defense. Like that first drive, second half, you can allow 12 plays and get down and tighten up, and they turn it over. That's fine. But when you don't tackle well, that negates that. It's just not a good deal.
It's not. And then as you talk about ball control, the longer they have the football, the longer our defense is on the field, and this goes into offensively having issues, picking up third downs, making drives of our own, because we do try to have guys that don't have to necessarily go both ways 100%. But it doesn't matter if they're still out there, the defense more than the offense.
Right.
Kind of negates that.
And it does. And I think it's not necessarily that we're any different defensively. It's just you didn't see this many offensive possessions all season because we're not being able to sustain movement offensively.
Exactly.
And the other side of that is when we're prolific scoring, which means I say that we can score quick, or we could in our situation. Well, that changes an offense's standpoint a little bit. When we can go score quickly, they're not going to run trap every time. They're not going to run stretch. They're going to panic a little bit and try to get the ball downfield and play into our game a little bit. And when we can't prove that we can go down and make big plays, And it cuts the game out. I mean, it's like being a basketball team and running the Harvard offense with 5 guards and not being able to shoot.
Right.
You know,
you can't do that.
It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be able to shoot it. And so that's kind of what we're looking at. I mean,
How did we come out of the Tonkawa game physically? And we've been continually banged up, but was there any new things that came up out of the Tonkawa game from a physical standpoint?
You know, Chase Bratton.
That's what we were talking about that off the air.
Chance. I mean, and Chase sitting behind me, but Chase and Chance is what I'm saying are both. I mean, Chase has got his lingering shoulder issue, and he's fighting through that, and it's just kind of day to day. I mean, he just tries to get better a day and then practice.
Sure.
He's done a great job getting through it all year. I mean, but he's battling to stay healthy, and then Chance is the latest one. He'll be fine. He'll play Friday. I mean, it's just, you know, honestly, a lot of this is going to be another year in the weight room. You know, even Austin's injuries. I mean, stuff like that. I mean, when our kids have an opportunity to have another year in the weight room and put on that extra 10 to 15 pounds of muscle and explosion, this is going to cut down. You're not going to see as much of this. I truly believe that.
Yeah,
we're asking kids to play, honestly, in positions and things right now for us because we don't have anything else to do.
Well,
you know?
and the work that they put in from the moment you got here is all great work, but it's still been pretty compact in the amount of time that you've had, right? I mean,
no doubt.
So it's not been a full calendar year, if you will, that you've tried to put that type of work in, and you know you've gotten a lot out of them for the time that they put into it. Yeah. But it's just not the same as having that every year cycle those people through that program and do it yearly.
No, there's no doubt. I mean, and Chisholm's a great example. Chisholm took it on the chin for years. I mean, 3 years. I don't think 3 or 4 they didn't have a winning season. They were like 1-9, 0-10, 3-7, and then they finally went 5-5, I think.
Yes.
So we've definitely closed it quicker than that.
Yes.
But like I said, it's going to be. And you look at next year. You look ahead of it. You know, what can we make up in a year? Because that Tonkawa team is going to be good next year.
Yes, I agree.
Only just lose that tailback.
Yeah.
And I think their middle linebacker. I think 61 was the senior. I believe, wasn't he?
He was Ingmeyer.
And he was a good player. He was really good. So, but they're going to be good. Yeah. I mean, they're going to be good. Chisholm's going to be good. Hennessy's going to be good. They lose Tabor Johns. They lose a couple linemen, but I watched their young kids play that 34, I can't remember his name, and 25 run the ball in that on film, and they're just good. I mean, they're good. So, and that freshman quarterback in Hennessy's, I mean, our district's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, and we'll lose Pawnee, we'll gain Pawhuska, right? They will come in to that
Pawhuska
place.
Will come in, and I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of them. I've heard, you know, I think they're going to be about like Pawnee.
That's what I think.
Just similar in a lot of ways. And Perry will be improved. They've gotten better every week. You know, it's going to be a tough district. I mean, we're going to be better. There's going to be a lot of people scratching and clawing to get in next year. So you can't just mark down us for sure being in any time. I mean, it's going to be a dogfight. You know, and Newkirk has some good kids coming back. That the quarterback comes back, 21 comes back.
Yep.
So it's just going to be, but it's good motivation. I mean, it really is. I mean, we can't mark down, hey, we're in. We're for sure going to be in the playoffs at any time. I mean, I'd like to have said that, you know, I think all of us thought at the beginning of the year we're going to have a good chance to get in this year, and I still said we would. You know, if we were all healthy.
I agree.
I don't think there's any doubt.
No.
But we still have a chance right now. We can go over there and fight Pawnee tooth and bone, and I mean we can do it. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you we can't. It's very possible, and our kids expect to be honest with you. And we had the best day of practice today we've had all year.
That's great.
And I can say that honestly. I mean, it was great. It was a great day. It was very physical. Very fast, and it had to be.
Yeah.
It had to be, and they knew that, and we cranked it up today, and so hopefully it carries over to Friday night.
Absolutely. Coach, we're going to take a quick break. We'll bring Chase in. We'll bring Coach back in for a little bit, and we've talked a lot about Pawnee. We'll go a little bit more in depth with the Bearcats and what we'll see from them in Pawnee on Friday night. Let's take a quick timeout. Chase Jones, our defensive player of the game from last week's game against Tonkawa, will join us. Seth Millage, who was our offensive player is sick, so we won't have him tonight. He'll come out next week. So let's take a quick break. We'll have more. This is our Coach's Corner show tonight, live from Champ Sports and Spirits right here on KELV. Greg Hillman, welcome you back live to Coach's Corner, our show highlighting Goldbug football on a weekly basis. Again, we're here on a Tuesday night here from Champ Sports and Spirits. Come by, catch all the specials and everything. Champ's obviously a great supporter of Goldbug Sports. They are our weekly home for our Coach's Corner show. Tonight here on KELV, again, we'll have the Ranger Basketball Bash. We're going to cover that tomorrow evening starting at 7 o'clock, kind of our preview of Ranger basketball, so that is why we're doing our show here tonight. And then the Northwestern Ranger Football Coaches Show, Inside the Lines, that will be again on Thursday night here from Champs with Matt and Jesse and the head coach of the Rangers, Matt Walter. Right now, we bring in our defensive player of the game from the Tonkawa contest, junior linebacker Chase Jones. Chase, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Okay, from a physical standpoint, how beat up is everybody? It's I know this is kind of that point of the season where from a mental and physical standpoint, you guys have been going at it for quite a while. I know everybody's battling through things, but how are you guys doing as you get ready for week 9?
A lot of us have bumps and bruises. Chance, he hurt his shoulder a little bit, but he'll be fine. I mean, all of us are, no matter how bad we're hurt, we kind of keep on trucking this practice. The past 2 days of practice have probably been the best practices we've had all season, I would say.
Yeah.
And we're playing tough, so I mean, I think we're all pretty good. I mean, I'm feeling pretty good.
Good. Shoulder issue, doing pretty good?
No, I'm fine, yeah.
That's good. Let's talk a little bit about the Tonkawa game. Obviously, we knew going in, and you could see a lot from film, the quarterback was very good, the running back was very good. They ran the ball. You knew that those two guys were going to touch it, almost 100%. That's kind of how it worked out. But give me your thoughts on how that game went.
Tackles. We got to make sure we have tackles, and that was probably the reason why we let him get up so high.
Yeah.
No matter how many people, we would have 1 or 2 people on him, and he would just slip right off, or the quarterback ran the ball hard, and he'd just run over people, or we'd stop the hole, and they'd just bounce it out, and wouldn't have edge. I mean, it's like they were covered in lotion or something. They were hard to tackle.
It seemed like that. I mean, that stat, yards after contact, that was a big one for them, certainly, in that game. You guys, we had moments. I think that's what's interesting when you look at a game like that. The first drive for them where they get the interception, but then we fumble it right back. First drive of the second half where they drive it down, but we hold them. It just seemed like those little things which you have to do to win a football game. Sometimes it just kind of came back to.
I think we got them like the fourth down like one time in the first half, and that was it. That was rough. I mean, we were a team that really I think we kind of pride ourselves on our defense, and we just really didn't do that well that game.
As you guys. As you turn yourself kind of away from that, because, I mean, that's the thing you have to do now at this stage. A game is passed. It's got to be passed. Now you get yourself ready for Pawnee. Everybody, I mean, you guys, how is the spirit of everybody? Everybody still feeling, I mean, even though it's disappointing losing 3 straight games, we know that, but is everybody still keeping the heads up and knowing we've got at least 2 more games to go, right?
Yeah, I think we're all still eager to get in that playoff spot. All of us want to make it there. I mean, because we worked so hard this summer and the first couple games, and we want to make our way to the playoffs.
Yeah.
At least get a couple playoff wins. That'd be nice.
Give me your thoughts on Pawnee, having had a chance to see him. And again, this is earlier in the week than we normally get to talk to you, but just your second day of practice. But give me your thoughts, you guys, especially for you on a defensive standpoint. What are the things we're going to have to do well against them?
I mean, they run with an H-back, so I mean, they always have a lead blocker on the running back. So I mean, their tackles are big. They got some big physical tackles. And their inside guys are pretty good, and all their running backs are fast. So I mean, they're not. I don't think they're as good as Tonkawa, but I think they still got more speed than Tonkawa.
Yeah.
So
their offense runs differently than Tonkawa's. So it's interesting. I mean, they don't do the same things, even though they have good personnel.
Yes.
Is there anything that they do in the passing game that's different from what you guys have seen?
I mean, they run a spread, so I mean, like they have
offense that you know well.
Yeah, offense that we go against every day. So I mean, it's not like they're doing anything that we haven't seen before. I mean, they have one good receiver that we know of that we're just gonna lock him up. So I mean, I think we're gonna do pretty good on their pass and pretty sure we're going to stop the run this week. I'm going to guarantee that one.
That's certainly something we'd like to see. There's no doubt about it. That's been a tough one. Chase, it's always great to have you. Appreciate you coming out. You had a great game last week. And, again, I think the way you look at this and the way you have to look at it is if we go down and win against Pawnee, everything is, we still put ourselves back in position.
Yes, sir.
And we've said it from here on out. Every game's kind of a one-game season. This one for sure is a one-game season.
Yeah, so we got to play our heart out.
Yeah. I know you guys are ready for that. And
yes, sir.
Good luck on the rest of your practices this week, and we'll see you Friday.
All right. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Our thanks to linebacker Chase Jones, a junior, our defensive player of the week. He had 10 tackles in the game against Tonkawa last week. And appreciate him joining us. Let's take a quick timeout. We'll come back and bring the head coach, Taylor Schwerdtfiger, back in, talk a little bit more in depth about Pawnee and what we'll see from them, the Black Bears, coming up on Friday night. We'll take a timeout and be back. This is our Coach's Corner Show, live from Champ Sports and Spirits here on KELV. Welcome back to Champ Sports and Spirits, our weekly home of our Coach's Corner Show tonight, live here on 1430 KELV. Craig Kilman along with you as we welcome back first-year head coach Taylor Schwerdtfiger. And, Coach, we've talked a lot about Pawnee in certain ways, but let's go a little bit back to them. We played there, obviously, on Friday night. It is a 7:30 kickoff, so we want anybody listening out there want to make sure they know that is a 7:30 kickoff, where most everything has been 7. First time in a while we've had to go on the road. We got spoiled a little bit in terms of getting to play 3 straight home games. Now we go back on the road. Let's talk. We were talking a little bit off the air. Let's talk our defense, because we're having to shuffle a couple of different guys in there now. And as you face off against Nathan Brock and their offense, tell us a little bit of how defensively we're going to look against them.
It's going to be similar, but we're putting Travis Costello back down, putting his hand in the dirt. He plays a lot better. He's so physical off the ball when he wants to go, and giving him something that he can be sure of. This is where I'm at. This is where I need to go.
Yeah.
Rather than playing him standing up. We tried that and it worked out okay at times, but it's better for him. It's better for all of us because we get a better fit defensively. You're going to see Arturo back there at linebacker, the freshman, number 20.
He's going to go inside or one of the middle.
He's going to play inside. Yeah. We're shuffling around for Ridge. Luckily, we get Justin Meyer back, and he played well against OCS. Just a few busts. He just had a few. That comes from experience.
Yeah.
So I thought today he had a great practice. He's starting to get it exactly what we want out of him, and that's just good for us for the future. We got another guy that can step in and take that spot. That's great.
Is Kennedy McKnight still in the mix at all, linebacker wise?
I think if he's been sick the last 2 days, along with Seth Millage. So I don't know if they'll be healthy. I don't know what their status is going to be. As of right now, we're playing as if they're not.
Right.
If you have to have a backup, then yes, you would be. But not getting those reps those first couple days, it's big time. Hurts you big time.
Up front wise, do we still go nose guard? Is that still Burton? You kind of work guys in there, Max Parsons, those guys. Have you got a rotation of those?
Well, you're going to see Burton at tackle and Tristan K out back at center.
Okay.
And you're going to see Chance, Trevor, Max, and Chase all at guards.
Okay.
And Tanner and Terrell out at tackle. So
gotcha.
Terrell and Tanner's participation defensively is cut down a little bit this week, so they can be more apt to play offensively. But, our guards are kind of by committee. A lot of it has to do with health. You're talking about 3 of those guys all have shoulder injuries. So we're trying to roll them in and keep everybody as fresh and as healthy as we can to get through the game. But I like what we're doing this week a little bit better. I think it's simple. I think it's effective. It's a little bit more of what we were doing against Newkirk.
Okay.
Similar style defense. Obviously, they're better than Newkirk.
Yeah,
defensively.
of course.
But
are we gonna look more like the 3-4? Or are we gonna put more down line in terms of
defensively?
Yeah, defensively.
We're gonna look. Well, and it's kind of a trick question because by set, alignment changes what we do. So, at times we will look more like the 3-4, but when they play with a tight end and they play with trip, a sniffer back as we call it, it changes kind of what we do. So it will be a 3-4, but it's like a glorified 4-3 actually.
Right.
I mean, it's 4-3 rules.
Yes.
So that's kind of the base of it.
Yeah. And then as you look at what they do, their quarterback, they run the spread as we've talked about. They like to throw it to the biddy, the wide receiver. Do they use him a lot do they use him in slants? Do they use him outs? Do they use him just all over the place?
All over. They give him the ball in jet. They'll run a quick slant to him. They'll throw post to him, throw fade to him. I mean, and he goes and gets it. I mean, kid is athletic.
Yeah.
So, like I said, depending on the weather, I mean, I don't know what they're going to be able to do with the wet field, wet ball if it's raining. But he definitely is a huge asset to their offense. I mean, huge.
Yeah.
So,
as you we talked about, let's flip offensively, and we talked offensive line, how that's going to look, and hopefully get a little bit more continuity there. Again, from a consistency standpoint, and if we do get Austin, that could help a lot. But what are some of the things that we're going to have to do against what they do defensively to make something out of this?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how they play their secondary. Like I told you, I don't know if I told you this, but Tonkawa, they didn't play too high in any films that we have. I mean, they didn't give a shell defense. They gave a one high play man, so we prepared for that.
Yeah.
And then they came out and played too high on us on all the sets. I was just bewildered. I mean, and that gave you a stance that they actually think that the big play can hurt them. I mean, with our receivers. And Mitchell can throw the ball downfield.
Yeah.
He's proved that. So I'm be interested to see how they play. I mean, against some of the sets that we're going to be in, I like our alignment if they play how they've shown. If they stay true to what they believe in. If they get out of it and try to come up and play little man, it could give us some problems. But if they stay in their zone, I like it. So,
is there anything different? Is there anything different we can do running the football against them? I know, as far as their defensive alignment, is there opportunities for the run game depending on how it goes? Or
yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think if we get the ball outside a little bit more, last week, if you look at our plays that went for positive, everything was outside the tackle.
Yes.
And so that was getting more bodies outside there than they did. And we can do that again this week especially. And I think we can run a little option. I mean, I think it's going to be they're pretty aggressive off the edge, and they're kind of giving that to you, and nobody's attacked them with it yet. So we're going to give it a go. I mean, it's tough with a freshman quarterback, but you can't just. I mean, they're sitting there giving it to you. You got to give it a try. So
the one thing, real quickly that I'll say about the Tonkawa game that was a positive is he did not have a turnover. Mitchell didn't throw an interception and didn't fumble it. Yeah. And I know that's maybe many steps, but that's the first time in a while that there hadn't been one of those. Sure. And so you try to build on many things like that, and that's I know it's things we know in every game, but obviously against Pawnee that's going to be. You can't turn the ball over. We can't have silly penalties. I know we can kind of regurgitate that every week. Yeah. But in this case, if you want to give yourself a chance, especially going on the road, you cannot.
It's
put
just
those
frustrating.
things.
I mean, we go get a first down the other night on fourth down and go for it, get a run, get a first down, and get a stupid blocking in the back penalty.
Yes.
I mean, just whether he did or didn't, it's just stupid. I mean, it's so frustrating. I mean, it is so frustrating to watch us implode, and kill ourselves at times.
And here's the deal, Coach. There are teams that are good enough to come back from those things, right? And what we're talking about is
Hennessy is a very penalized team.
Yes.
And they always are. Yeah. But they have they can overcome it. I mean, they're built to overcome it. Yeah. And so, and
that is what gets frustrating in dealing with a team that we're trying to build around and make into what we want them to be. Yeah. But it's hard for them to mentally get back from things like that.
Yeah, it is.
Everything kind of snowballs at times. And so, I mean, that's just kind of one of the things I know you guys are working on. But, hey, Coach, appreciate the time. And again, we might have to bring our rain slickers or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are going to be outside or there's no telling.
Right now I'm going to be inside. I think I'm going to be in good shape over there. I talked to their AD today. He said, we don't have quite the same digs as you've got there in Alma. Yeah. I will say I shed a little bit of a tear that I had to give up that press box for a year.
Oh, I know.
But anyways, it's going to be good. No, I think we'll be good to go. But it will be interesting on the ride over there. And, it could be, again, they're certainly talking weather could be a major issue. And that's something at this time of the year you kind of look for that at some point.
Sure.
But
sure. I mean, and they get under center some, which gives them an advantage, in my opinion, of that.
Right.
That's not what we do. We can, but it's not what we do.
Right.
And so you hate to change what you do, and so playing in the wet field conditions and the ball getting snaps.
Well,
So.
if you're talking the shotgun snap almost 100%, as we do, the wet football, again, all that stuff can play into it.
For sure.
Coach, appreciate the time, and we appreciate you taking the time out of coming at a different day.
No problem.
Look forward to seeing it Friday and just see what happens.
Sounds good, Craig. Thanks.
All right. Our thanks to Coach Taylor Schwerdtfiger. Another edition of our Coaches Corner Show again on a special Tuesday night. We will have coverage of the Ranger Basketball Bash coming up tomorrow. We'll start that coverage at around 7 o'clock. The actual event starts at 8. It's at Percival Fieldhouse. And then again, don't forget, Northwestern Coaches Show is Thursday night here from Champs. It'll start at 7 o'clock with Matt Adair, Jesse Klein, and the Ranger head coach, Matt Walter. That's going to do it for us. So long from Champs Sports and the Spirits. Have a great Tuesday, everybody.